It has been upgrading its arsenal ever since. Now to Egypt and the situation we've been keeping an eye on there this weekend. At this hour, the U.S. State Department with a new warning for Americans inside Egypt. Our embassy in Cairo advising our citizens to avoid large crowds there as protests are growing much more violent. The embassy also reporting protesters are pelting nearby police lines guarding the compound with rocks and Molotov cocktails. All this as the backlash against Egypt's President Mohamed Morsi appears to be escalating. Reports tonight at least one person killed, dozens injured in an attack on Muslim Brotherhood offices north of Cairo. Muslim Brotherhood, of course, Morsi's political party. In just the past couple of days, Morsi has angered many of opposition activists with a power grab. We told you about it last night, giving himself near absolute control of Egypt. Steve Harrigan is streaming live for us from Cairo tonight. And Steve, what's the scene right now where you are? I understand you're in Tahrir Square.
Harris, that square right behind me, and as you can see from our live pictures, more tents have sprung up as the evening has gone on. Those protesters say they are there to say. We're hearing some small explosions behind us, more tear gas going off as well. After 3 nights of protest here, skirmishes between the protesters and security forces, at least 500 people have been injured in those protests, and now a death tonight as well. This coming north of Cairo when an office of the Muslim Brotherhood, that's the group that supports the president, was attacked. One 15-year-old boy killed in that attack, as many as 60 people wounded. Harris?
Well, it looks much different than it did last night, much more active at this hour. Steve, tell me this. I know that Mohamed Morsi is planning to meet tomorrow with his opponents. What can you tell us about that planned meeting?
He's meeting with some chief justices here in Cairo, and it's really the first sign of a potential move towards compromise or backing down by the president, but really too early to call yet. Of course, as you know, many of the judges across the country have gone out on strike after this presidential decree, a decree that basically put the president above the law, above the courts. But as far as any talks with the opposition go, opposition figures say that's out of the question. They say there's going to be no dialogue until that decree is revoked, and they are planning a 1 million-man march of protest for Tuesday. Harris?
Wow, 1 million man. Real quickly before I let you go, Steve, you know, in the past, when we saw a revolution in that country a year and a half or so ago, we saw police forces, we saw military intervention. What is the latest on authorities there on the ground?
Right now, it's just been police forces on the ground and really a back and forth on a low level with the protesters. The real concern is, and some opposition figures have raised this concern, is that the military might intervene if things do get out of control. That's something that people are worried about. We've already seen the military push in large cinder blocks to try and block off alleyways to limit the violence so far, Harris.
Steve Harrigan.